786 in time came in February 1st, and I also measured the October 4th low to the November 25th low. 1272 in time came in February 3rd. So you had January 31st through February 3rd for a possible low in COP as we were testing support. You ended up hitting and holding the zone. It would have triggered on a lower time frame, but that's an example of a time cluster turning the market. And it just happened to coordinate with price, so that's time and price. When you have time and price come together, it is one of the highest percentage trade setups. Okay, I think I might be getting into my last slide here. Let me double check that. Yeah, this is my last slide, and then I'll take questions. This was recorded, so you'll be able to watch it again. Here, this is PG, Procter & Gamble. And again, I had price relationships that came into play, but I also had 3 timing cycles which supported this as a trade setup. I had the November 25th low to the January 3rd high. 786 in time came in on February 1st. I had the September 22nd low to the November 25th low. 100% in time came in on February 1st. I also measured the August 9th low to the November 25th low. 618 in time came in February 3rd. Actual low was made February 3rd. And this is not, a big buck setup, but we did see the 1272 extension, or just short of it. We had a nice little rally in PG off of both this timing and these price parameters. Okay, I think I'm done with the presentation, and now I can take the questions. But the question is, do I have to go back? Yeah, there are some of the people that are in the room. It does work on an intraday basis, and it works. Okay, here we go. I don't know if this is gonna stay back there. Okay, I'm gonna see, is that what I'm using? All right, the questions. Okay, what is 5 trading bars or 5 TB? That's 5 trading bars. That's just the program. I use Dynamic Trader that was created by my mentor, Robert Miner. And that just counts for trading bars. Basically, I can click on a high to low, and it will count the bars for me because I set it up that way in the program. Okay, because I like to see how many bars, because of the time symmetry, and that comes in all the time. All right, let's see. What moving averages am I using? I'm going to give you guys one more link, and that is to the guidelines so that I don't have to repeat everything. I have on my website, FibonacciQueen.com. You can go to right underneath where the book is, and I'm also going to give you the link right here. This explains the averages. This explains the triggers. Okay, let me see where I'm supposed to put this. Let me know if that's the right place to put in the guidelines. Okay, so the daily chart stuff is different now than my intraday averages. I use the 8 and 34 for the crossover on the trigger charts. I also keep an eye on the 200 simple moving average and a 50. Okay. What's the shortest ticker time chart that can be, is there more to that question? Oh, used with good results. I'm trying not to do, you can do a 5-minute chart, but during the trading day, I am doing the mostly like a 30-minute in the S&P, and then sometimes down to a 10-minute to go along with it, or a 5-minute. Or I'm doing setups on a 30 or 60-minute. And then I'm also doing the swing trade setups on the daily charts. Okay, what's the win-loss ratio? I don't keep track of all of my setups, and I do not take all of my setups. So I don't have one, but I basically asked one of the guys in the room a while back how he was doing with the trade setups. And at that point, he said that if he used the triggers, the proper triggers, and did the trades in the direction of the trend, he was getting about 70%. So I would give it a little bit less for room for mistakes and stuff, and say that if you use the triggers that I talk about in the guidelines, along with the setups, and he's talking about the daily setups because he's just doing those, then, you know, maybe expect to get 60-65%, possibly more. Okay, I would rather underestimate than overestimate. And no, I'm not doing Forex. Question is, what ratios am I using for timing a low? The same exact ratios that I'm using for the price work. Okay, maybe I don't use 236 very often, but I use all the other ones that are on the first slide. So again, I believe that you're going to have access to the slides at some point. I'm not sure if they're already uploaded, but you can have them. Okay, so as far as a trigger, read the guidelines. That's a 10-page document on the trades and triggers and how you can use it. Okay, here's another question on timing. Do I look for the confluence of timing from different lows or highs using different ratios? I am running all possible highs to highs, lows to lows, highs to lows, lows to highs projected from another low, etc., etc. And that's what will give me the clusters. So I'm running the same way that I run all of the price relationships that are possible off of the swings. I try and do the same thing with timing relationships. That's how I get the clusters. So you might have, you know, one ratio from one high to low and then another from another and so on. And that's where you're getting the clustering. Okay, question, do I work with 4 moving averages to confirm your setup? No. I only use the 8 and the 34 to confirm the setup as far as triggers. And as far as CCI triggers, I'm not sure if on this new guideline sheet whether I still show the CCI stuff. Like if you didn't have, you could use that in addition for confirmation. For example, on the trigger chart, not the setup chart, but on the trigger chart, let's say if you're looking for a buy and I want to see it take out a prior swing high and have the moving average crossover, well, ideally you both have the 50 and the 14 bar CCI above 0 on the trigger chart. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Okay, I like the TTM triggers, but I also, again, in the trades and trigger guideline sheet, I'm giving you something that works. You don't have to use that. You can use the TTM squeeze. I love when the squeeze matches up with one of my regular triggers. Okay, question is, when I look for long candidates, let me scroll up. Do I look at the longer time frame? Yes, I do. But there's something about, for example, I have to kind of tweak what I'm doing. Some of the setups in the S&P last week were bearish, but I did not focus on taking those setups until I got up into the time resistance in the S&P. So I keep track of what's going on in the S&P and the overall markets and the indexes, and then, you know, I'll go according to that. I was okay starting to look at the sell setups when we started getting extended and into time resistance for the rally. That's when I looked at a setup like CME. Okay, so I do keep that in mind. And I believe, you know, you're going to be in better shape for the most part. If the S&P chart is bullish, then focus on the buy side setups. Okay. Question, how necessary to use options for the trading room? No, you can use futures. I mean, but I'm only doing